River Levee south of Alexandria, Missouri. The break flooded more than 800 acres of farmland and property in the floodplain. A nearby grain elevator operator, Steve Logsden, has been keeping his eye on river conditions.
The water started running through it because of a boil, we call it, or, you know, it's a weak spot in the levee. And then it just keeps getting bigger, you know, and they lost the levee, and it's running in that levee district now.
A Clark County Sheriff's deputy told us some people in the flooding area are evacuating their homes. No injuries have been reported. Logsden says there's really not much anyone can do now at the broken levee, but volunteers are busy sandbagging the levee just south of the Fox River Levee, reinforcing its banks. He adds no one could see this coming.
That levee would have still held at this river stage if it wasn't for just a weak part of the levee. But the water's been on the levees, all the levees, along here so long that, you know, there might be a weak spot anyplace.
Across the Mississippi, the residents of the northern Hancock County community of Niota were waging an around-the-clock battle to save their community of 300. Volunteers from around the state came to help, a scene replayed over and over. Back in South Hannibal, more people were being forced out of their homes.
The Missouri Water Patrol, the Coast Guard Disaster Response Team, and city officials are helping evacuate.
Our main concern today is trying to get people evacuated out of these houses that are being flooded. We're going to have a projected 3 to 4 foot rise in the next few days, and we're trying to get as many people out of these low-lying areas as possible.
Along Main Street, on the unprotected side of the city's flood levee, several homes and businesses now sit in water. Baseball fields are nothing more than swimming holes now. Lots of people are venturing out to watch the water rise, clogging traffic downtown. But businesses there are breathing a sigh of relief. The flood wall is keeping the water out and preventing millions of dollars in damage and lost revenue. City officials say the levee has not created worse flooding in the unprotected areas.
The rising Mississippi on the Illinois side of the river at the John Hay Public Use Area forced the closing of the Mark Twain Bridge at Hannibal, one of many bridges to close. That day, the decision was made to close Memorial Bridge in West Quincy. The Fabius Drainage District Commissioners wanted to build up a levee over Highway 24 to match the height of the rest of the levee. Employees at Knapheide welded a temporary structure. Sand was brought in to start what turned out to be another long, heroic struggle. This one caught the attention of the nation. Businesses started moving out of West Quincy just in case. People remembered the severe flooding of 1973. At TNT Sports, trucks hauled out golf carts, motorcycles, records, and office equipment. West Quincy was becoming deserted. The inconvenience factor of the flood of '93 grew on July 2nd when high water on the Illinois side forced the closing of the Highway 54 bridge at Louisiana, Missouri. Another transportation link between Illinois and Missouri is snapped. Many volunteers worked long and hard fighting the flood of '93. A very common sight, the camouflage uniforms of National Guard personnel from Missouri and Illinois. The Sny Levee system was one area where Guard personnel spent a lot of time.
An abandoned school near the center of town is now headquarters for 110 Army National Guardsmen. Community residents welcome their presence because they're here on levee duty.
First mission is to take care of the people and the fact of securing the bridges to where people can't go out and get into the river and get injured. But our secondary mission is really to be here and you know, so if something does happen on the levee, you know, we're there to help.
Captain Joe Bartley, who is commander of the operation, couldn't say how long the guardsmen will be in town. They are pitching tents and making themselves at home just in case it's for a long haul. It's already been a long haul for the farmers and other volunteers who have worked around the clock sandbagging the levee.
Kind of hard to sleep of a night when you don't know if you're going to be floating out of your house or not. It's quite a nerve-wracking deal, really.
Farmer Gerald Allensworth has a lot to worry about. The levee is just a few feet from his farm fields, and if the levee broke, he would lose more than 1,000 acres. I'm standing on the Sny Levee in an area south of New Canton called Blackjack. Workers behind me have spotted a boil about a quarter mile down the levee. They say it's not serious, but they liken it to a small fire. If they don't contain it, it will get out of control.
Another long battle fought by guardsmen and volunteers was in the Lima Lake and Hunt drainage districts. We checked out Meyer just as the American Red Cross Disaster Services truck arrived to provide food and drink for the civilian volunteers and members of the Illinois Army National Guard. The Guard is working at various locations in Pike, Adams, and Henderson counties, and so is the Red Cross Disaster Services truck. Major David Lacrone is controller for the Illinois Army National Guard, and he's also the on-site commander.
Currently, we're with the 232nd Supply and Service Battalion base in Springfield. We have 102 people on site from the Quincy unit, that's the 126th Quartermaster Supply Company. Also 61 people from the 258th Quartermaster Supply Company from Beerstein, Illinois. And also the 3637 Maintenance Company, which is based in Springfield. Currently, we're trying to assist the local people in any way we can. As you can see behind me, a sandbag in the river, and basically provide any type of support that we can at this time.
Was it tough to round up the Guard personnel over a holiday weekend?
There's no doubt about that. We got a warning order to stay alert last Thursday, and 3 days went by over the weekend, and finally we got the call this morning to be over here around 8 o'clock this morning. So the guys pitched in pretty well, and they all showed up, you know, ready to go.
On July 6th, Missouri Governor Mel Carnahan flies into Hannibal for his first close look at the flooding in northeast Missouri. The flood of '93 caused over $3 billion of damage in Missouri alone, and that figure is climbing. Also on the 6th, the Illinois Department of Transportation tries to keep the east side of the Keokuk-Hamilton Bridge open, but the water rises rapidly. Industry along Keokuk's riverfront is shut down. Progress Street is underwater. Damage could run into the millions of dollars. Workers file for unemployment. On July 7th, Alexandria loses its battle with the river.
No, I have to worry about looting. There ain't nothing there to...
That the water is almost over the tops of the houses down there, and we've probably lost everything we have down there.
Just have to go back, clean it up, and start over. And
be back. It's just sticks of wood, a little bit of cement. I'll be back. Pick up the pieces and go on.
it's depressing, but yet in your heart you know that you gave it every gallant effort that you could, so you don't have anything on your conscience that maybe if I'd have done more, because we did everything we could.
Did a lot of sandbagging and a lot of working, and everybody tried, and the people that have helped us have just been great.
25 years ago, my husband and I started out with nothing. We can do it again.
In Canton, Missouri, residents start moving out of the low-lying areas while volunteers build the levee higher.
Bill Scott plans to sleep in this bed tonight, but the bed won't be in his bedroom. He's moving his mattress and the rest of his furniture because the Mississippi River is expected to be an uninvited